Hi, my name is Austin. I'm running for IVP, and my goal is to ensure that everyone in Fusion feels like they have a voice and that they're a part of something. To accomplish that goal, I want to reduce fam sizes to ensure that members feel like they're a part of the fam. Fams are the best way to convey the feeling of becoming integrated into Fusion, and smaller fam sizes will allow more intimate connections to form. I want them to be more reminiscent of friend groups rather than the classification the way it's been the last 3 years. And having smaller fam sizes will also encourage fams to collab more. Because an issue in the last 3 years is that it's much harder to get to know people outside of your fam after they're made. If you don't already know them, then it's hard to reach out. And I want to reduce that stigma to present more opportunities to form bonds with the people that you see every week. As fams are smaller, I want to have fam heads act more as a friend in the group that plans the events. I want to integrate them more to be more like personal into fams. And through fam heads, I'll also be overseeing the club as a whole over each member. I do want to take a passive stance on each fam to let them form their own dynamic, but I also do want to be proactive and ensure that each fam is succeeding. I want to be available to facilitate that forming the bonds if I need to. Regarding fam challenges, I want to start the year off strong with get to know you events because I want fam members to become quickly acquainted with one another. In the last 3 years, there's been a lack of connection between members, and sometimes when inactive members come back to Fusion, they widely go ignored because people don't know them. I want to change that. I want to make sure that people know that they have a place here and feel immersed, like this club is somewhere that they can come and go to. I want fam challenges to be events that friend groups would do normally, like grabbing food after class, studying together, getting mobile, like small, simple events. But I also want to have month-long events for bigger events that require more forethought. Because what I've seen is that some fam challenges this year, they've been restricted to 1 week. And I want to give fams more flexibility so that everyone can have like time, the event can be more planned and everyone can go to it. Regarding mentor-mentee pairings, I want them to be similar to fam in that the pairings form personal bonds. This is just more intimate between two people. I also want to take an active stance here to ensure that the pairings go well because I've seen mentor-mentee pairings struggling, and I feel like I could have remedied that if I was active and checked up on them and like made sure that they did well. Because mentor-mentee pairings is a major program, and that depends on how well a mentee can adapt to UCI. And I feel like it should get the attention that it deserves. Regarding intern responsibilities, I feel like interns sit in a limbo between volunteers and an extension of board, and I want to change that. I want to define what it means to be an intern because in my opinion, interns are a flexible extension of board in that they help when they're needed, where they can, with a focus on the position that they're interested in. I want to define what is required for both board and interns to clearly understand the work interns do because they often go unappreciated when we don't know what work they do. Interns can't learn as well if they don't know what they're doing either because they're just blindly going around in the dark, which is why I want to define what it is to do, their responsibilities, and I want to give them the respect that they deserve as an extension of board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Austin. With that being said, we can open it up for questions. I'll start us off. So Austin, as a board member currently, what do you feel like was one of the biggest things you learned this year that you feel like directly translates to IVP?
See, the issue I had before and initially as a board member is that I didn't really make time for events. More like I went along with things as they happen. So I didn't really plan much beforehand. Becoming a board member this year helped me to grow and understand the responsibilities and the time it took. It allowed me to become more proactive and that I want before Infusion, I wasn't really active. It taught me to be more social because the responsibilities that it garners and my position itself forced me to be out there and plan my events beforehand as opposed to how I would previously do it and just let it happen. So if I wanted to summarize it, being a board member this year taught me to be more social, plan my time more accordingly, and shoulder responsibility better. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Austin. Xavier.
Hiya.
So I'm just wondering, so you're talking about making changes to the FAM system in terms of reducing the overall number of members per FAM.
Yes.
I was wondering, like, what was your overall plan to approaching this as Fusion grows over the years? How do you plan on taking this, reducing and making a more familiar environment within the FAM system?
See, because like the way FAMs have been my last 3 years in Fusion, I feel like they're just a classification. Like, yes, you form a group, but because of the the large size of it, it's hard to like for smaller members to reach out. And if you're inactive, then like you don't really get known. Like sometimes there's a member that comes back and like you don't really recognize them, and neither do the FAM members because they aren't really like talking in the group chat either. By making FAMs smaller, it allows for a more intimate connection. Like each member is given more attention because it's smaller. So when members come back, if they're inactive, like they're recognized, they feel like they have a place here. That's what I want for Fusion. I want the FAMs to be smaller so that it feels more personal, more intimate, and everyone like has a place here. Everyone has a voice.
Sorry. So to add on to that, how are we making the FAM smaller exactly? As Fusion experience like a growth of members,
Oh,
how do you
how
plan
exactly?
to? Yeah, what's your plan for that?
Oh, I'm just gonna increase the number of FAMs.
Uh,
I'll like basically like the way we have it right now, we have like 12 FAM heads, for example. In my plan, like I want to have maybe 1 or 2 FAM heads per FAM, which allows for like smaller FAM sizes. So depending on the amount of FAM heads we have, I'll reduce the size of FAMs. So to maybe like 5 to 10 people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Deneen had a question in the chat
Oh yeah.
in regards to reducing fam sizes.
Oh
How
yeah.
many members would you put in each fam? I think you started to cover that a bit.
Yeah, I covered it a little bit.
And you still do 2 heads and 2 co-heads per fam if they were smaller.
See, okay, for fam sizes, yeah, I want to have 5 to 10 members per fam, maybe 1 to 2 fam heads, and like, I know that like creates issues when friends who both want to become fam heads can't always be placed in the same fam. But as I said earlier, I want to reduce the stigma of like fams interweaving by having 2 fam heads that are friends. When they hang out, they can always open it up to the rest of their fam, which allows for like interweaving to occur, and it allows them to create those bonds that they wouldn't have previously. I want people in Fusion to hang out with each other, like not just with their fam. I want to encourage with their fam, but I also want to encourage with other fams as well. That's why like they're smaller, less heads, and heads can still hang out.
We have time for 1 or 2 more questions.
I have a question.
Mhm.
It's Richard. So in terms of, so we're changing the structure of FAMs quite drastically, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that factor into changes that we would see into the FAM achievements, FAM of the quarter, and the challenges? Like, yeah, could you speak on that?
Oh, like, okay, so like the challenges, the point system, stuff like that.
Yeah, how do we determine FAM of the quarter? Would that still be a thing, or?
I feel like giving out multiple awards would be more apt, because like with more fams, it's hard to really like name one as the best when each fam is just, I'm sorry to put it in blunt terms, like vibing, you know? So with each fam, I feel like they can do their own thing and succeed in their own way. And I want to, because I want to encourage each fam to have their own dynamic. So with having multiple awards, I can allow them to succeed in their own direction.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.